This is Exodus 15:3. The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh is his name. I like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquath that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Omawan back at you with another lesson. Going into the title, all right, tensions of war, war drums, all right, and I'm gonna read Exodus 15:3 again. The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh is his name. Okay, let me grab Revelations 19:11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he does judge and make war. Okay, and you know that's talking about when Yahweh Shai cracked the clouds. All right, he's gonna come and make war. All right, with everything that's against him here in society. All right, but the reason I bring that out is to show you that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are men of war, man. Okay, and what you see right now with all these different nations rising up against each other, all right, as it tells you in Matthew, the 24th chapter, there will be wars and rumors of war, all right, kingdom standing up against kingdom, nation against nation, all right, it's all orchestrated by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, okay, because he is a man of war, okay. This is 24:6 in Matthew. For ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. So let me play this video. All right, two videos that I got. All right, and apparently, all right, strikes on Iran. Okay. Which let me get to that video. Okay. And hey, what's going on is they're going to stir up these Iranians, all right, and they're going to go back, okay, to their normal nature, to their natural nature of being wild men, all right. So this is, it says IDF brace for Iran's preemptive strikes on assumption Trump already ordered bombing Tehran. Israeli Channel 12, okay. Let me go into that. Straight chickens up in there. Okay, that's one video, and then this is the other video here. Where's it at? Yo, what the hell is happening with these videos that I be having? Okay, here we go. Check this out right here. See, this is how Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is going to come like a thief in the night. Okay? And then I'm going to play one more. All right? Which it says World War has started. Okay? And it says Russia drones hit an American-owned factory in Dnipro, right? The facility belongs to the U.S. About 300 tons of sunflower oil spilled onto city roads as a result of the attack. Russia has crossed an American red line. This war is no longer indirect, Salakia. Russia strikes an American industrial facility in Dnipro, okay? So, hey, man, this is beautiful, all right? Because that just shows you that we're that much closer, all right, to the end of this thing, okay? But the Lord said what? Be not troubled, right? As we read in Matthew 24, it said what? Be ye not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, all right? So, yeah, World War III is going to happen, all right, as the scriptures say, all right? The second woe come quickly. The second woe passeth, and the third woe come quickly. Okay, and it's rapidly approaching. But before World War III pops off to the point where America is disintegrated, all right, according to Isaiah the 34th chapter, okay, the MOTB has to be made mandatory. Okay, Jacob's trouble has to happen. The MOTB has to be made mandatory, and then eventually, when that comes to play, all right, it's not much time before Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai put that spirit, all right, on Russia. Okay, to have that evil thought, according to Ezekiel the 38th chapter, to be destroyed, okay, to destroy America, all right, along with all the allies of America and along with all these other nations that Russia is being a guard onto, okay? You got, China is also in the mix, okay? You got Iran, as a matter of fact, all right, going into that. Oh, Salaki, I didn't play this. I said it, but I didn't play it for you guys. So this is the attack from the Russians. So, hey, war is stirred up the way it's supposed to be according to prophecy. All right. Before I continue, all right, since the first one we brought out was on Iran. All right, let me grab this. This is Second Ezra's. All right, Second Ezra's 15, and let's take it from 29. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Okay, that's talking about dragons of Arabia is talking about these Arabs, right? It says with many chariots, basically meaning with mixed armies. And it says, in the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carminians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. All right. And the Carminians go into your modern day Persians, which are your Iranians today. Okay. So they're going to go back raging in war. Raging in wrath, as it says. All right. So something is going to be happening that's going to piss them off. All right. And we can only put two and two together. Okay. You see the war that's being brought, the U.S. and Iran war. So we know that America is going to piss off Iran. They're going to end up doing something that's going to bring them back into that wild boar spirit. All right. That wild nature. Okay. So continuing on, it says, the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. Okay. And they're going to join battle with who? They're going to join battle with, with Russia. Okay. All these other nations. All right. Because right now Russia is being a guard onto them. All right, let's grab that Ezekiel 38 real quick. Okay, this is Ezekiel 38, and I'll take it straight from 2, 3. It says, yeah, I'll take it from 3. And it says, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, speaking of Gog and Magog, right? Russia. And it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, meaning they're going to be revived back into that Soviet Union spirit. Okay. And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with the bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. All right. Going back into all their, pretty much all their military power. Okay. And it says, and with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. Okay. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. Okay. Persia going into those Iranians. All right. Ethiopia going into like the Sudanese. Okay. And the Kush, basically. It says Africa will be like Libya. It says with them, right? All of them with shield and helmet. Okay, meaning that they're going to join the war also, but they're going to also have their protection. They're going to have their military, right? And it says, and Gomer and all his bands, which Gomer goes into Turks, and the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. You see? So Russia is being a guard on to Iran right now, okay? And it says, after many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, okay? And that's going into Israel, because Israel is going to also be destroyed, you see? So you got America and Israel, they're pretty much together. They're in cahoots with each other. All right. And they're both going to be taken out. They're both going to be destroyed by nuclear destruction. OK, according to prophecy. All right. Especially Israel, because Israel is our homeland and is so defiled and polluted. OK, so it has to be burnt up with nuclear fire. OK, to be reset, basically. OK, because that's the greatest cleansing agent that the Lord has for our that he uses. Okay. And it says and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have always been waste. Okay. And the Lord said he will always have war with Amalek from generation to generation, man. That's why there's always been many wars around that area. There's always been nonstop, constant war, because the Lord has, war with him, with Amalek from generation to generation. As we read in the beginning, the Lord, all right, is a man of war. Okay. It says, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. All right. And how do they dwell safely? They dwell safely because of this Belfort Declaration. You see, it says, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, and shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and all many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think in evil thoughts. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of the unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. Okay. And that's talking about how eventually Russia will have that evil thought put into them. Okay. They're going to end up destroying basically Israel. Okay. And then eventually they'll have that evil thought to go towards America. All right. This is the place of unwalled villages, meaning what? They have no protection hedge here. They have no protection. Okay. As a matter of fact, in the ancient world, when you would go to a city, it was surrounded by actual walls. Okay. But in America, see, there's no walls built around this place. People come in freely and leave as they want. Okay, you have people that come from all different types of the world, different countries around the world to come to America. See, you couldn't do that in the ancient times, man. All right, because cities were walled, were inside walls. Okay, and not only that, this place has no protection, period, because here it is, you got America scattered throughout the whole entire earth, waging war in all these different countries. Okay. So they don't have nobody to protect here. Okay. And hey, that's the pride of these devils, thinking that they don't have to have protection here. All right. They believe in their technology. Their technology is going to be able to save them, you know, their defense systems, but none of those things, all right, according to to Joel, the third chapter and the second chapter, right? The third chapter talks about how the weak shall say that I am strong. Okay. All these nations that were once weak, all right, are now strong because of the thermonuclear missiles that they have. Okay. And it also speaks about in Joel how they shall not break their ranks. Okay. The missiles, all right, that are going to fly to America, every single one of them is going to go to exactly where they need to be. All right. Why? Because the Lord's going to have his spirit in each and one of the missiles to destroy, you know, every part of America that needs to be destroyed. All right. That's why it's going to look like a great lake of fire. Okay. So Russia is being a guard onto Iran right now. Right. So let's go back to second Ezra 15 and 30. Also the Carmenians, okay, the Iranians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, okay? And that's going into a portion of the land of America, okay? And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. So you're going to have all these other, basically these Arab nations coming together to unite in power, all right, with these Iranians. Okay. And again, it says that they're going to go back to remembering their nature, going back to who they normally were, blowing shit up. All right. We've always known, all right, as, you know, Arabs and Iranians going to places and just blowing everything up that they see. You see, because that's their normal nature. Okay, as you go into Ishmael goes into wild is he. All right, so he gonna go back to his wild nature. Okay, it says, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. And the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy, and from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Okay. And you know, that's something's gonna happen, all right, basically here, inside job type scenario, all right, that's going to be able to besiege the enemy. Okay, which is scary, because that's why you got so many damn Iranians in here. All right, you got a lot of these people here on American soil. Okay, so who knows what can be, you know, conjured up between these people that are here, all right, and the people that are out there in their country. Okay, I've always realized, you know, there's so many of them here, and they all own gas stations. All right, and that's a crazy thing, that they all own gas stations within a fucking mile radius within each other. Okay, so we have to see how things play out. Okay, and it says, behold, clouds from the east and from the north onto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. Okay, and that's basically going into these different armies. Okay, it says, they shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword onto the belly, and dung of men onto the camel's hoof. And there shall be a great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. Okay, and then shall there come great storms, and from the south and from the north, and from the other part and another part from the west, and strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it in the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind shall be destroyed, and great and mighty clouds shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the star that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place, and a horrible star, fire and hail, and flying swords, and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with abundance of great waters. All right. And that's basically talking about these missiles. Okay. It says, and they shall break down the cities and walls, going to Joel 2:7. All right. They shall not break their ranks. Right. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills and trees of the wood and grass of the meadows and their corn. And they shall go steadfastly on to Babylon and make her afraid. You see? So this is what eventually, all right, what happened to America being destroyed. Okay. It says, then they shall come to her and besiege her, the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up onto the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her. And that's talking about the mushroom cloud, you see. And these people gonna bewail her. All right. Once this place starts getting smacked with missiles, all right, people they're gonna be sad in that day, because America's that cash cow. Okay. Because everybody was making money and living deliciously off of America. Okay. All these different countries, these different nations will come all over the world, all right, to make what you will call a better living for themselves. Okay. But that's what's coming to America, man. All right, let's grab this and I'll end it off with this. It wasn't going to be too long. All right. This is Malachi 4:1, and it reads, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave neither root nor branch. Okay. World War III. Okay. Let's grab one more. This is First Peter's. All right. First Peter's. Not First Peter, Salaki, Second Peter's. Second Peter's 3, and I'll get straight to the point. This is this is Second Peter's 3, and let's take it from 5. It says, for this they are willingly ignorant of, that by the word of Yahweh the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh Shai is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance, meaning all Israelites, right? It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, the missiles, right? And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Yeah, the scriptures talk about how the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard, okay, of how hard it's going to be hit with the missiles, okay. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasten unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. You see, and that's what we're waiting for. This is why we want Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai to come and wage this war upon them. Okay, so because we look forward to the new heavens and the new earth. All right, and that's why he's going to pretty much bring that fire upon this place, because it has to be resetted with thermonuclear missiles, man. It has to be used. It has to be resetted with the greatest cleansing agent, which is fire. All right. And that's why everything is going to reset, even all the way down to the elements. All right. It's pretty much going to be like it was in the beginning. All right. When you read Genesis, how everything was, void. All right. Real quick. Genesis 1. All right. It said, verse 2, it says, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters. You see, so it's going to go back to, how it was. When it speaks about that, it speaks about how the elements were basically, all over the place. They weren't yet in order. Okay. But the Lord is going to reset them elements. Okay. And then it's going to go back to its order. All right. And it's going to be beautiful again. All right. When the Lord brings that new heavens and the new earth and resets everything. All right. This place is going to flourish the way it's supposed to. All right. Because the Lord is going to establish that righteousness upon the earth. Everything's going to be, the earth itself is mourning, man, because this devil, pretty much destroys everything he touches. Okay. Look at all the war that he's caused upon the earth, so the earth mourns itself. All right. So once that fire comes, all right, it resets all the elements, it resets everything here and life, basically. All right. And then everything's going to be able to go back to the way it used to be, better. All right. And it's going to flourish forever and ever under the rulership of Yahweh Shai. All right. So just wanted to share that through the spirit. Lord willing that you will edify. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloi and La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rochak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. Stay prayed up. Shalom.